All right. So tonight we're going to have a couple things that for folks like Bruce Eads and Bob and Ryan that will give them some things to chew on, and then for all of us some things to chew on when we're working on our Tai Chi. So I'm gonna kind of stay in the Tai Chi realm a little bit and give us some things to chew on and think about. Before we do that, though, we're going to take a couple of moments and we're going to loosen up our joints and do just a couple of minutes of posting, and then just kind of get our minds settled. And one of the things, speaking of that, one of the reasons for the posting, Tai Chi is usually practiced slow. And even in the old days, they would practice it slowly uh, because there was so much going on. You're really trying to learn how to do some things correctly. And then that practice methodology would carry over into other areas until you were ready to release it and let it become. It's not intended to practice slow all the time, but when you're trying to learn, it's a good idea to slow things down a little bit. Try to make it right and slow, and then you can speed it up as you go along. Let's loosen up the knees a touch. Just breathe a little bit as you go along. Good. Take it the other way. Regulate your breath a little as you go. Nice full breath. Exhale slowly so you can oxygenate your body some as we do our work. Well, let's walk our body up and circle out the hips a little bit. Oh, yeah. There we go. Now reverse that. Good. All right. Now a little Jam Jung. Spread the feet out some. And we'll just start in a resting Wu Chi posture. Settle your weight back a little bit. By back, I mean so that you feel your weight evenly distributed across your feet. Spreading the fingers out a little so that the hands feel like they're holding on to something here, right? You can, or like magnets being drawn or pulled apart. Good. As you exhale this time, allow the hands just to float up to the level of your heart, turning the palms slightly toward you, which will draw the elbows in just a little. Good. All right. As you exhale this time, turn the palms away and let them float up just a little higher, about the level of your nose or eyes. As you exhale this time, allow the hands to just float down by your sides, face palms facing the earth. Come back to your rest. Exhale. Stand up nice and tall. Good. So what I'm going to do now is for many of you, your form and memorization of the form is coming along real well. You're trying to work out some details. And for the most part, like Bob here was asking me a question earlier or demonstrating something for me in what he was practicing. And for the most part, what's happening now is that you have memorized the mechanics of the form. You memorized, for the most part, where you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to get there. But then the energy that you're supposed to be trying to find or observe while you're going through it. Okay. The number one power, we did a mental mill on this probably about a year or so ago, is, for example, this is another example. For the most part, reeling silk. When I say that phrase, for most students and most people, it's some form of an exercise. It's a mechanical exercise, but it's really not. It's much more than that. You using the proper mechanics can help for you to stimulate the energy, but the energy in Tai Chi Chuan is built around reeling silk. And then you take that energy, that power that you learn how to develop, and you translate it into Peng. You translate it into Loi. You translate it into the other 8 expressions. All of that energy is expressed. That one energy is expressed in 8 different ways. And later on, when you get good with the reeling silk, you learn to make it explode, and that's when you start to practice Fa Jian. or Fali, right? If you're practicing Xingyi or some other styles. But that concept. So one of the things I wanted to do tonight was kind of give you some details about and ways to look for what energy am I trying to do. So it's not just a mechanical hands out, okay? And that's what's happening, right? I've tried to correct it, like for example, follow the palm and at the end turn it, right? And that's a mechanical adjustment to try to get you there. What I'd like for you to do this evening is there's two primary powers that you can find, and then there's two primary ways of using it, which will give you four primary combinations, right? So for example, all right, just do it with me. I'm going to take your dominant hand, whichever one that is, because it won't matter, right? And the first power is twisting in. So what I want you to do is emphasize your little finger as if it's turning toward the center of your palm. That's the energy, so that your hand feels, your little finger will feel as if it's turning and guiding the energy right to the center of your palm. Okay. Can you feel that? All right. I mean, because that energy right there, you're going to do it like when you get to the Yom 48, you're going to do this so much, it's crazy. And you already do it in some of your other work too. You just don't see it. That energy you feel, Ryan has learned it in a little different way here recently in his Bakwa, because it'll tell you to wrap the elbow, right? But if you'll think about the little inside finger here as it rolls in, you'll create a, not necessarily tension, but you'll feel the energy go right through there. The tendon line will activate, okay? Now, the other part of that is, of course, just the opposite. You take your thumb and turn it as if it's pressing the energy away. Okay. And it's going to have this sort of feel to it where it's not grabbing him like a claw. I've just grasped, I have grasped. And now I turn the thumb toward the Laogong and it twists and puts a, and now you may feel a little bit of that tendon line activate through there, right? But that's all that is. Now, the Xingyi has a way of teaching you this. Right? Yes. Bakwa has a way of teaching you this. Each one of them have a way of teaching you. But the idea of what you're trying to get to is the same in all three. How they try to get you there is what is different. Okay? But if you took that mindset, okay, and say, okay, that's the energy I need to feel, right? Now, you add that to two motions that y'all already do. We do it in the posting. Expand and contract, the two primary forces of the universe. Okay. So if you expand, the hand goes out. And if you do the inward turn with the little finger, that's the action you get. Okay. Just like so. If you push the hand out or expand the hand, it goes out this way. Okay. And so now you're expanding. Now, if you do the same thing going inward, the hand's here, you turn it in toward your little finger, turn it in as you pull in. Now, y'all already do this technique too, right? Good. And then if you take your hand and you're going to pull it in with the thumb toward the center, the hand rotates like so. The reason that this is, you take single whip, and if you look at how it starts, the little finger rotates in, all right? You should have that energetic feel as it comes out. And then when it comes out, the thumb rotates out. That feeling should be present in your technique. Okay, does that feel different, Kathy? Okay, of course, now, as we're doing this, your other side is just like, might as well put it in your pocket, right? Because it's like, no, they're just one side at a time. Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah, because now you have this turning in a different way. The reason I want you to learn this is because those four combinations is present in some form or another in every movement of your Yang 24 Tai Chi. Now, even the opening, rolls, right? Parting horse's mane. It should have, it's not just a mechanical, yeah, got it. That's why I'm trying to give you a little bit more of that generation of power. Let me see what y'all are doing online. Any questions online? Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. And so as you're turning, for example, when the palm's turning away from you, if you imagine that thumb guiding the energy to the center, the hand will naturally kind of just rotate right out there for you. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right. Part of the other reason it came up, like with Kathy, she was working on her backhand intercept center punch earlier. And I know Karen has been working on that. And this was the technique that Bob was showing me he was working on. Is that when you look at it and you start to see it, the rotation of the palm, or in this case, the closed hand, is still the same thing, right? The little finger is turning in. The hand's closed, but you can feel that turn. Then if it raises, boom, it's right there. Then it holds that as it goes out. Uh-huh. And Bob, this is what I was saying to you earlier. Then when you walk through, right, your other hand's here. So this hand is twisting, right? And then it twists again as it pulls in. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, even though your hand's closed, you should ideally still have that sensation of twisting and pulling. So like if Ryan and I are connected, I don't have to like physically bang on him. He can feel me turning and coiling with everything that we're doing so that when it comes around, it's not just an empty clobbering like a stick. It should have that twisting. That's the reeling of the silk. Now, the best exercise I would do for my own mind when I was trying to grasp it, and I've showed you this one. I do it a little bit more like a bone marrow exercise these days, but it does help in this particular example. So what I like for y'all to do is get a good horse stance. Oh, one last thing, just as we before we get ready to do that. And Ryan has recently gone through some of this as well. You know, whatever I'm showing you with the arms and hands, right, is also supposed to be happening with the legs and feet. Not necessarily physically, but when the legs, yeah, when the hands are going and feeling like it's twisting, the legs will have the same thing where they feel like they're twisting in or twisting out. All right. But we'll do one at a time right now because your mind can grab a hold of the arms a lot easier than they can grab a hold of your legs. So if you take your palms, and we'll just start with palms down for the moment, and exhale, and I'm going to turn to the side so the folks on the TV camera there can see. As I'm turning my palms, I'm going to drive them up to the level of my eyes, and I'm going to think about my little finger turning in. And then I'll feel everything from my shoulders connecting all the way to my fingertips. Okay. Now I'm going to think about my thumb turning and keep that tension and pull back and down. Now, when you're doing this, all the instructions I've been giving y'all for the past couple of weeks manifest themselves internally because of how you're thinking about your energy. So, for example, as the palms turn up, the elbows should feel like they're wrapping. Okay. And as the palms turn down, the elbows should feel like they hang. You've heard this over and over again, right? But if you need to think about it energetically, you twist those little fingers toward the center of the palm, come back down. Good. Okay. Sensations? Good. Everybody good? All right, because now we have to reverse it. So now we were here, right? Yeah, now the palms are up. So as you come up, turn the thumbs toward the center. And then as you exhale and pull back, connect the back. Make sure that you start with your back, okay? And then pull the shoulders, elbows, and the hands. When you get all the way out here, your chest should feel hollow, not stuck out. Should here. Squeeze those muscles a little bit. I'd rather for you to go a little too far on the energy on this one so that you learn how to let it go. Go ahead and do a few more. How's that feel for you, Ryan? Can you feel it generating the type of exercise that we want? Okay. Good. And twist it with some power there. There you go. When you pull. Uh-huh. Good. Okay. Let's take a look. So that's all four combinations again. Okay. You're just doing them bilaterally. All right. Now we're going to play for just a minute. Like I said, those combinations are almost in one shape, form, or another in almost every movement of your Tai Chi. Right. So, like when you're holding the baby and you're sitting there holding the baby and you're doing the brush knee, you're going to have that feeling where that thumb feels like it's turning out. And this one is already in, and they both turn out. Okay. And then when you hold the baby, they turn in again. All right. And so what that does is you see Ryan do it. No, you go ahead. You do it again. Come over here in front of the camera, Ryan. There you go. So as you see, watching Ryan here, now if he had his, if we had shirt off and all, you'll be able to see pretty much what's going to happen is that now his mind is connected all the way from the top of his head, the bottoms of his feet, to the very tips of his fingers. So, because he's got energy accumulated in there already through his mind work. Now, when he stamps out to do this brush knee, now the gua, the thighs and all activate, this activates, and everything rotates out. And now it is a solid piece. I mean, you can't do it any better than that, because now he's 100% in the right mechanical place. He's 100% concentrating on what it is that he's working on. And that's what I wanted y'all to have this evening, is that, you can take the work that you're doing and work, go ahead and relax a little bit, and work on the concentration of what it is that I'm trying to do. Once you get past where you're supposed to be, right? Where's my foot go and that kind of stuff. But when you're working on just simply a reeling silk exercise, we'll do one last one here. I don't even know what time we've got. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. All right. So cloud hands with vigor. Okay. All right. So the reason I say that is because a lot of times when we're doing cloud hands, when you get ready to go, a lot of times you're going to find that you're going to have a rotation of the palms. And in this case, I'm going to roll and yes. So as this hand turns around, I'm doing an inward turn, right? This one's and as this one, it's doing an outward turn. So now you're connected 100%. The circle never ends, not just mechanically, but in your mind. You never relinquish the rope. Uh-huh. And it doesn't have to be filled with tension, but it can't be filled with emptiness, because that's just a hollow movement. Concentration doesn't have to be I don't know what the right word is. I know Ryan will understand. It doesn't have to be suffocating, right? But enough concentration to where you're connected to the work you're doing. How's that feel for you, Ryan? Like, changes things a little bit. And all right, Kathy, how about for you? I could, it's almost like you're playing with something over there. Your mind is really into the work. And that's what I'm looking for. The other thing I want you to notice that without telling you, you slowed yourself down. I didn't have to tell you to slow down. That's a mechanical way of doing it. You slowed yourself down because now you're concentrating, you're mingling in the work, you're playing. You know, if you were a baker, you're kneading the dough. You can't rush it. You know, you got to get it just right. But just right is up to you. You know, when are you going to finish it? Take your time. Good. Okay. Here's what we're going to do to finish up. Okay. What I'd like for you to do is to take this last minute or two. Yeah. Because I had this on the, I want a little free form work. I want you to not, and by form, you can pick a movement or two that you want to do, right? But I like for you to pick something that you want to do and just start the movement, whatever it is, and then look for the connection. Find the energy in it. Don't try to mechanicalize it too much, if that's a word, but just find something that you want to work on and let it happen. Anything in the Tai Chi that you know, mm-hmm, and that will change everything. Like if I chose to do a reeling silk exercise just with brush knees, it looks like right. Oh, you doing wind blows lotus leaf? Yeah, that's the one I was. Yeah, right. Good. He chose wind blows lotus leaf, but you can sit right there, slow it down, and get that connection of everything turning and rolling. Now you got reeling silk power. And then one day when you have it, you'll know when to go, whack. I like whacking. That was good. Yeah, right. Well, no, but you did good. She's not quite sure what she was doing, right? But you were 100% involved in the work. And that's where Tai Chi starts. It's not in the mechanical movement as much. It helps to have some. That's good, Bob. That's real good. Doing the uh, grasping the bird's tail. That's a beautiful one to do. Like just in the old style, Mr. Speed and Bruce Eads, right? You know, so when you're looking at it and you're reaching up and over, you can feel the turning, the thumbs. The thumb on this hand is turning out, turning in, while the little finger here, and then you pull that in. And then you don't just lazy let it go, right? It twists and rolls back out. So that energy's always in your motion. Maybe we'll do a lot of that next Tuesday too. It's just the grasping the bird's tail and some of the others. And we're gonna finish tonight because I just saw Ryan out of the corner of my eye too. What you'll notice about your breath: mind first, body second, breath last. What will happen is that your breath, if everything's going right and your mind's in the right place in the body, what you'll find for the most part is anytime your hands will pull in, you're going to breathe in. And just about any time your hands start to leave your body, they're going to exhale. The only exception to that is when you get into Fa Jing, when you really try to let the power out, and then it's an exhale all the time because everything else cools up for that to happen. But when you're practicing it slowly and you're just trying to get the feeling, you'll find Just happens by itself. You don't have to think about your breathing. So remember that order. Mind leads the body, and those two will lead the breath. You don't have to think about it if you know what you're looking for. Last takeaway summary. Okay. Push the palm, push the little, or pull the little finger toward the palm to generate that intertwining energy. Push the thumb toward the center of the palm to have that outward spiraling energy. And then extending the arm and pulling the arm will change everything. Gosh, I said that, but there was so much I wanted to. So for those of you on your backhand intercept center punch, and y'all keep asking me, where's my hand go? Well, when you hear this hand, your intercepting hand has already come twisting out, right? And then from there, it should have the feeling of grasping, and your other hand, your fist hand here, should feel like it's spiraling, pulling, right? The thumb is going to feel like it's turning outward as this pulls in. And then they both have a different they both turn in to get to hand under elbow. So your homework is to go through maybe one specific sequence of movements or one or two movements that you really enjoy, and find that power, that energy. Find the reeling silk energy in your Tai Chi, and your Tai Chi will change to a whole nother dimension. And if you're not sure what you're supposed to be looking for mechanically, then we'll work on that another lesson, okay? All right. How y'all feel online? Everybody get something out of it?
Yes, sir.
Very
Good.
good. Feel like coming home.